Hey crew, I've got the key to this 21 Toyota Land Cruiser. We are going to take it for a drive on-road and off-road, but first let's check out how it looks on the outside and inside. And it will be a brief exterior walk around because there aren't really any changes for the 21 model year, and in fact they're saying they're ending production of the Land Cruiser here in the US this year, but we all know they're probably going to bring back in a model year or two. So for the front, we've got this wide grille with plenty of plastic chrome, LED headlights and daytime running lights. This one is painted in magnetic gray. We have a set of kind of plain looking 18-inch alloy wheels. This is where the Heritage Edition and its awesome bronze wheels and accents would really come in and spice up the exterior. And in profile, it is definitely looking dated with that two-box design. Getting to the back, you've got a set of LED taillights. Land Cruiser is spelled out on the tailgate, and we have, of course, V8 badging. So again, the 200 series, looking just like it has for all of these years now. Let's check out the interior though. Starting with the second row, we find perforated leather seating surfaces, very soft leather at that. Rear heated seats are standard in a bench configuration or captain's chairs. This one has the optional rear seat entertainment system. Leather covers there when you're not using it, pretty nice. Getting up and into the second row, we've got a running board for shorter folks and a grab handle, but be careful, taller people, when stepping up because you can easily hit your head on that roof. Now, sitting behind my own driving position at 6 feet tall, I've got plenty of knee room, and this is all in leather, that's nice. With this second row slid all the way back. Foot pocket space, not the best though. I can't slide my feet under at all to decrease the knee angle, and that is hindered further by the fact that we have all-weather floor mats. 4-zone climate control is standard in the Land Cruiser, as is a power sunroof, but it is not panoramic. You do, however, get this nice suede headliner. 4 one-touch windows in the Land Cruiser. Getting into the third row is easy. First of all, you can just pull this bar and recline the second row for more space, or just pull it once, full flat. One more time and lift it up for your access point to the third row, and we can see it's not very large, and further, because the floor is so high, taller people, again, will be doing a lot of crouching to get into the third row. Now, once you're back here, again, with that second row slid all the way back, I can still fit at 6 feet tall with enough knee room, and because you can recline these seats really far in the third row, I also have headroom. Just barely, but my head does clear. Tiny-ish drink holders and no USB ports though, unfortunately. To get out, you don't have a really easy way. You do have to pull that bar again. Then you can push the seats up. Hope they don't come back at you. And again, do your acrobatics to get out of here. Oh. Taking a quick look inside the trunk, we've got the classic Land Cruiser tailgate, which is damp so it doesn't come slamming down. There's not a ton of space behind the third row, certainly not as much as rivals like the Cadillac Escalade. You do have a nice 3-prong 100-watt outlet back here for camping needs. So if you want to fold down the seats, headrest first, which you may just want to do anyway for better visibility as a driver, and then pull these tabs and press forward. Then one more step, pull up on these levers, and the seats come up to the side of the body. And because they don't fold into the floor like some rivals, your utility space is not going to be quite as much, but it's still halfway decent. When you close this up, we'll head to the front. And first off, you can just pop off that cover, tack on a hitch, and you can tow 8,100 pounds with the Land Cruiser. In the front seats, these are going to be heated and ventilated as standard. JBL 14 speaker sound system is also standard in the Land Cruiser. Heated leather and wood steering wheel. Hopping up and in, closing the door. We've got a 9-inch touchscreen infotainment, still no Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, even for 2021, and the graphics are not super sharp. You do have very comfortable seats here, though. We'll get more into that in the drive, which is right now. Let's bring this dinosaur to life. Look at that Land Cruiser graphic. It's like coming to a theater near you for a limited time until they end production. Oh, I wanted to show you this. Check this out. You get a cool box as well as a standard feature in the Land Cruiser. You can cool off your beverages when you're camping or going to the beach. Useful, as is wireless smartphone charging. Yeah, it's archaic, but we still have smartphone charging. Going into reverse, the mechanical gear selector. Look at that. And a mechanical e-brake. Just have that on the Miata and on the Land Cruiser now. Wild. So we've got a surround view camera system as standard in this vehicle with a ultra wide view or narrow view, bird's eye perspective, and if you're in park or drive, you can get at the front facing camera. Very useful on the trails. Okay. Let's back it up. Just feels so cool. So cool. Side views too. That's going to be useful for our turning radius test, which we will now do. Line it up, and there we go. Will it clear? You tell me, camera system. Oh, it's close, but we made it. Made it. And let's test out that horn. First with the window up. Sounds kind of quiet, but with the window down. Yeah, much louder. That just speaks to the insulation in this cabin. Let's talk seating position for a second, because this is a commanding one. You just survey the land, especially out of the front glass and front windows, which are giant. Out of the rear, well, you got a blind spot over there with the C-pillar, but you do have blind spot monitoring as standard and rear cross traffic alert. And humming along in the background, we have our 5.7 liter naturally aspirated V8. It makes 381 horsepower and 401 pound-feet of torque. Not class leading anymore, but still plenty. And it just, works really smoothly in the background with this 8-speed automatic gearbox. Occasionally I'll get a weird shift and it'll like pop up the res for a sec and I don't understand why, but for the most part it's a smooth transmission. 0 to 60, should you care, is 7 seconds, says Car and Driver. Of course, we have a permanent 4-wheel drive system. That's the Land Cruiser shtick. All the time, 4-wheel drive. Oh, that was one thing I noticed. You don't have one-touch turn signals at all. You have to click the turn signal indicator. That's bizarre. It's bizarre for a 2021 vehicle to not have that. But settling into the drive, my goodness, I mentioned it briefly, but these seats are so plush. Very supportive, extremely comfortable. This soft leather feels amazing, especially when you're wearing shorts like I am. Ambling along, the suspension is wonderful. You feel the bumps kind of, but there's a lot that they have to get through to get into this cabin and get through this comfy seat. That AC system is on the louder side, and it is on the lowest fan speed. Let's do some acceleration. Sounds awesome. That's 60. That sounds awesome. Not necessarily refined, but fun. What a great soundtrack. NA V8 music, come on. How can you be upset with it? Brakes are a tad squishy. You got a lot of vehicle weight to haul down. But they work. They definitely work. And Toyota always installs these really soft pads. So there's never any squeal from the brakes. But that does generate quite a bit of brake dust as a trade-off for that. Okay, so even at half throttle, you're kind of always hearing that V8 somewhere in the background. When you get up to like 7th and 8th gear and you just cruise, it's not too present, but when you're into the throttle somewhat, you're going to hear that V8 noise. But I don't mind it, I really don't. I can really see you just eating up the miles in this truck. I can't get over the comfort. I cannot get over the comfort. It's so smooth. It honestly begs you to take it on a road trip. It really does. If you buy this car to daily it, all right, I get it, I guess, because it is that comfortable. But if you're driving it around town constantly, you're going to really be pained by the fact that the fuel economy is atrocious. I've been getting just under 11 miles per gallon average, and that's not driving this vehicle aggressively that often. And that means it's way worse than its even city estimate of 13 miles per gallon and combined estimate of 14. So as a daily, you better have just gobs of cash to throw at the gas bill. It makes so much more sense as a hauler. If you're going to take the family on trips constantly, a lot of highway miles, overland miles, whatever, that's where this makes so much sense. Now, I mentioned that I don't have Apple CarPlay, but I do have Bluetooth, so we can test out this JBL sound system. That bass. Decent sound system for sure. Now that we're on the highway, we can test out the mid-range acceleration. So we'll go to sport mode. And we've got some manual control over the shifts. There it is. The shifts aren't that slow either. And I mean, there's definitely power here. In terms of active safety features or driving aids, the 21 Land Cruiser has a couple, but they're really not that great, and they're not extensive. So we do have adaptive cruise control, which we can turn on by hitting the cruise control button and setting it, and then you can set your follow distance. But this only works until you're at like, I don't know, like 20 miles per hour. At 20 miles per hour, it turns off. So you can't just use this in stop and go traffic like you can with most modern adaptive cruise control systems. And it doesn't have a lane keep system. It just has a lane departure warning system. So if you turn this on, do a deliberate lane departure here, it'll beep at you, but it won't keep you in the lane. And this only works at speeds above 32 miles per hour. So if you go below that, again, it's not working. So really, for stop and go traffic, these systems are going to be useless to you. But they're at least nice to have on a long road trip if you just want to be able to take your foot off the gas and have it not have to, you not have to manage the cruise control system. And now I think it's time to go get this truck dirty, doing stuff it really was meant to do. And just like that, we've teleported off-road. Brilliant. I've changed my shorts and my shoes in the process, and yep, the tires are aired down. So convenient. And with that, let's go off-roading. Into drive, we're going to stay in four-wheel drive high, and I'm going to move it up to this screen where you can see the angle of your wheels. Useful, very useful. Because sometimes, genuinely, it is a mystery when you're doing some crawling. Here, not as mysterious. And what I expect of the Land Cruiser on this kind of surface off-road is ultimate comfort. This is overlanding 101 right here. It's not smooth, but it's not ultra harsh. Just little rocks in the road, dips here and there. But the suspension, like over something like that, and with the tires aired down, giving you that air cushion, and with this really comfortable seat, this should be, and indeed is, a pleasant little drive on what is effectively a fire road. Power. V8. And ease up over the hill. Now that's nice. The brakes that were squishy to me on road here are just very easy to modulate. Not super grabby. So you're not skidding at all. They're just slowing the vehicle down progressively. This engine, silky smooth on-road. Sure enough, it's the same way off-road. These nice big windows make it easy to see around corners. Oh, this is relaxing. I'm in love with the Land Cruiser. It's white on one. It's not as nice as this. Also noticing there's not a lot of rattles inside the cabin either. You may hear the slosh of my big bottle back there. But it speaks to the build quality here because, you know, little rattles over chattering road, but nothing bad at all. All right, onwards to the next obstacle. Now we've made it up to the sandy mogul playground, and we'll see if we can summit these things staying in four-wheel drive high first, then we can always go to four-wheel drive low if needed. I'll try this one out. Crank that wheel over. Let's check in on the cam here. See what we're looking at. And try to be smooth on our way up. Bogging a bit. More power. Nope, doesn't like that. So, let's rock it back. And approach with a bit more velocity, perhaps from over here. There we go. Easy breezy. See if there are any more challenging ones that might require four drive low. That one looks like they're deeper ruts. Ah, no, over here. That's what it's all about. That looks technical. In fact, I'm not even going to try it in four-wheel drive high, so let's go to low. Neutral. Crank this over to low. Tells us we've switched, and now that brings up multi-terrain select. So, we can either do mud and sand, or there's a mogul setting. Let's try the mogul. Why not? Bring up that cam one more time. Got to go to drive, and let's go. Now here's where I'm going to wonder about the clearance with those running boards. We can hear the stability control system working its way. And the brake-based torque vectoring. Can it do it? Easing back. Back into it. Why does the cam keep turning off? Ease back. Power on. And, there we go. There we go. Right on. It's kind of fun. And at last, we have made it to our biggest, baddest, most challenging obstacle yet. That is a steep grade, and it's got lots of loose rock on it. So we got to make some changes here. Let's do the multi-terrain select. Let's move it to loose rock. We're already in four-wheel drive low, so we're good there. And we'll see what else we're going to have to do as we make our way up. But for now, let's just head on out. No struggle from the V8. Easy, smooth. Let's turn on the cam again. A little more power to get through that. And the cam goes off. Don't know why it keeps turning off. Not even going that fast. All right, it's getting real mucky here with all these bigger rocks, and they're not firmly planted in the ground. All right, and there starts the struggle. And this is a good chance to try crawl control. So we've got to make sure that we turn that on here. Seatbelt is locked, great. Turn that on, and then set the speed. And then take your foot off the gas and let it do its scampering stuff. Oh man, making this look easy. Wow. All right. The fight starts. Can crawl control overcome it? Or do we need to do more things? Yeah, okay, it's struggling. So, foot on the brake. Let's go to neutral and lock the center differential. Yeah, it's been deactivated because I went to neutral. So we're gonna lock the center differential. It's gonna click, beep, flash, whatever, until I go back to drive and start moving. Let's see if that helps at all without crawl control on. More power. Saw the wheels a little bit. Look for a place out. All right, we're gonna have to back up and give it a bit more power. All right, so we know the trouble is here. Make sure we're on strong footing. Drive, more power. Build up some momentum. Hopping on up. There it goes. There it goes. We're gonna keep that momentum as I approach this next part, because this looks pretty boggy. Oh, we're fighting. We're fighting, and we're overcoming. Yes. Awesome. That was not easy. But the Land Cruiser did it. And that's the hardest part of this hill. Wow. Let's get to the top. And as we prepare to head down this monster hill, we'll let crawl control take us the rest of the way. Engage that, set the speed, take my foot off the throttle and brakes. And by controlling this dial right here, I can select the speed at which I descend, letting the braking system and electronic stability control system manage the scary stuff for me. Gosh, it makes this feel easy. Having such a sure foot in a situation like this, if you didn't have crawl control, would be essential. But with this system, it makes obstacles like this no harder than literally parking a car, which actually some people still struggle with. Better metaphor will come to me later. I almost make a beat with the stability control system doing its thing. Well, as you can see, this is how this is going to go for the rest of this hill, effortlessly. So I hope you guys have enjoyed my POV drive impressions. My wrap-up thoughts on the Toyota Land Cruiser from the on-road and here in the off-road is that I'm proud to own a Land Cruiser based on my experience behind the wheel of this 200 series. Yeah, mine is archaic by comparison, and this vehicle is archaic in many ways compared to modern luxury or, off-road capable full-size 3-row SUVs, at least in terms of its exterior styling and some interior creature comforts. But you know what? If it's going to be something that you're going to keep in your family for years, for hundreds of thousands of miles, why not the Land Cruiser? It's incredibly comfortable. The fuel economy is abysmal. Just get over it, because it can do things like this. It can take you and your family anywhere you want to go, any sort of camping trip, and on any long road trip without sweating a single thing. That's why I love the Land Cruiser. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed these POV Drive impressions, and I will see you again next time.